Hi guys, how are you all? I'm pretty sure it must be so amazing. So today we will be starting digestion absorption part 1 and सारी चीजें हम लोग करेंगे alternatively. तो means one day 11th, one day 12th topic we will be doing and yes हम 2-3 महीने में पूरा अच्छे से complete भी कर लेंगे. After chapter completion, I will tell you how to concise any chapter in short notes in 1 or 2 pages. I will just tell you how to make short notes also of each chapter. लेकिन उससे पहले you have to listen to me very detailedly. Whatever I'm giving you, you have to listen to me. हर एक detail चीज पहले पढ़ेंगे and then we will be concising all the things in short notes part, right? So obviously I will give you first all the information about mouth. You will be labeling all the things in NCERT diagram. I'll be telling you about esophagus. You will be labeling all the things in esophagus. I'll tell you about the stomach, so you will be labeling all the important points there. So I will be teaching you this human physiology in 3 portions. First is anatomy and their structure. Obviously, we will see the anatomy and obviously morphological structures of the alimentary canal. We will see each part of the alimentary canal. Second, so first we will do structure part. Then we will do physiology part, reactions like how digestion happens, where digestion happens. So we will be seeing that part, right? So we will be doing the physiology part in that case. Third is the disease part. So we will be seeing the disease here, right? So let's start with the structure. I'll be telling you each part with the function. So let's go ahead, right? So today we will be covering tongue and teeth. So यहाँ पर मैंने टंग और टीथ के बारे में डिस्कस करना है, राइट? तो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट टंग एंड टीथ, ऑब्वियसली क्योंकि आज ये पार्ट 1 है एंड हम ऑल्टरनेटिवली 11th-12th कर रहे हैं. सो आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यू हैव सब्सक्राइब द चैनल. सो इट्स लाइक वैलेंटाइन वीक का फर्स्ट डे विद यू ऑल, फॉर यू ऑल, राइट? सो let's start our tongue and teeth. Let's start our digestion and absorption part. We will see structure and then I will be, I will be telling you in detail tongue and teeth. So let me take you ahead. Let me just tell you about the digestion, which you know. I'm pretty sure सबको basic पता है. All of you know the basic things. And yes, obviously here what we have to do, we have to break down complex substance. Complex means we have to digest, we have to break down. Complex means huge, जैसे like we are eating chapati. So roti के अंदर we are having starch and starch is nothing but the complex form of sugar. It's a long chain of glucose. So our aim is to convert this starch, which is the polymer. Polymer means made up of many, poly means many, mer means units. So it is made up of many units, many single units of glucose. So we have to convert this complex form, this complex polymer into the simplest form, right? Into the single monomer unit, which is known as glucose. So we have to convert it into monomer. Simplest absorbable unit में we have to convert it, and monomer of the starch is the glucose. So we have to convert it into glucose. Why? Because it is absorbable form. We can absorb it. इसलिए, right? And obviously from where we are getting all the nutrient, we are getting nutrient from the food. And food को हमें, we just intake food in the complex form and we have to absorb it into, we have to break down it into simple single unit, monomer unit, simplest unit, so that our body can absorb it. Because our body cannot absorb polymer, cannot absorb complex substance, complex food. So we have to divide it into small units, right? We will be seeing types of nutrient. जो खाना खाते हैं उसमें क्या क्या nutrient होता है? Write down in the chat box, comment box. Yes, micro and macronutrient. Micronutrient don't provide us energy, but obviously it will regulate metabolism, means chemical reaction. जो भी chemical reaction हो रहे हैं, it will be regulating it. Water, vitamin, electrolytes means ions required for metabolism. जितना भी रिएक्शन हो रहा है बॉडी में, all these things are required there. And macronutrient means required in huge amount and provide us energy, like carbohydrate we get from the chapati, rice, have carbohydrate, starch खाते हो daily. प्रोटीन प्रेजेंट इन योर दाल, दाल खाते हो ना, दाल सब्जी, मिली दाल और दिस जो भी मीट खाते हो और पनीर, सो ऑल ऑफ देम हैविंग द प्रोटीन्स ऑल्सो. एंड फैट, जो सुबह सुबह बटर के साथ पराठे खाओगे तो ऑब्वियसली बटर हैव फैट. सो we have to digest these things. We have to convert it into absorbable simplest unit. So carbohydrate ko we will just convert into simple sugar, simplest monomer sugar. Proteins ka monomer unit is amino acid, so we have to break it down into amino acid. And fats ka simplest unit is fatty acid and glycerol. So we have to break down all the food into simplest monomer absorbable unit. That is our purpose in the whole chapter. And we will be seeing whole digestive system in very detailed way. So obviously in 9th class also we have done it. In 10th class also we have done it, right? So when we talk about human digestive system, we already know that we are having the mouth open into the oral cavity. Then food will be going to the pharynx region. From the pharynx, esophagus take food in stomach take food into small intestine, and small intestine take food into large intestine, and undigested food remove out via anus outside the body. Yes, so this is the whole canal. So if we talk about human digestive system, it is having the whole alimentary canal, which will start from the mouth and ends at anus. So pura pipeline system hai. Alimentary canal is the huge pipe that will be starting from mouth and ends at anus, we know it, right? And obviously with the alimentary canal, certain glands are associated, like salivary gland, like liver, like pancreas. Stomach have some special cell, gastric glands. Intestine also have some glands. So we will be seeing all the glands and whole alimentary canal in very detailed way. So hold on for some time. We have to elaborate each and everything in very detailed way, right? So are you ready to explore each and every part that I have just told you? We will explore it. है ना? So obviously when we talk about digestion, I'm pretty sure all of you know we just digest food in two ways. And what is that? First is the mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion means चक्की पीस रहे हो या फिर you are breaking down food mechanically by chewing, crushing, churning and all, right? So that is the mechanical digestion. You are converting huge food piece into small pieces by churning, by grinding, by mastication, right? And why we are mechanically break down this food? Just because when we break down food by mastication, by chewing, obviously their surface area will increase. All the huge particle of the food will break down into small particle, and hence its surface area will increase. Enzyme will effectively act on each particle nicely. So that is what we want. That is our purpose of mechanical digestion. And second part of digestion is chemical digestion. So when we talk about chemical digestion, it's very simple, that we are breaking down food chemically, means using enzyme. So obviously we will be breaking down complex food or polymer, you know, I have just told you, right? A long chain of complex food will be broken down into monomer unit, means single absorbable unit with help of enzyme. So yes, enzyme would actually break down the bonds between these units, and it will be converted into single units, right? And this chemical digestion will start with the mouth till the small intestine, that we will see. हमने एक पार्ट अच्छे से पढ़ना है. So we will be seeing all the things. So hold on, I'm just giving you trailer. We have to see whole movie. Are you ready? So second, we will be seeing digestive system. Already told you have two parts. One simple alimentary canal that start with the mouth, then pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So this tube that starts from the mouth and ends at anus will be the part of alimentary canal. And second part is the digestive glands. And we know digestive glands means it will help in, it will be associated with the alimentary canal to help the digestion, like salivary gland, pancreas, liver, stomach have gastric gland, small intestine have intestinal gland. So that I will tell you in huge detail. तो पहले हम एक एक करके we will be seeing all part of alimentary canal structure, morphology उसकी पढ़ेंगे, anatomy पढ़ेंगे, and then we will see the whole structure of digestive glands also, and then we will start the chemical portion, right? So I will be covering all the things very nicely. And after this, I'm pretty sure you will be able to solve each and every question of any module you solve, of any places, right? You will be solve each and every question of NEET. That is ma'am's promise to you. Even AIMS question be solve kar paoge, but you have to pay attention here. And then you will say, then thanks me later, right? So we will be covering all the things in detail, right? So when we talk, let's start with the pehla alimentary canal ka part. So what is the part of alimentary canal? Mouth. So when we talk about mouth, we know we are having main buccal cavity where you keep your food and chew it, digestion happens, salivary gland will work there, means secrete their saliva, mix it with the food. So this is the buccal cavity, this is the oral cavity. And the second part of mouth is vestibule. Now you will ask me, now what is vestibule? So vestibule is very simple. You know what is it? Your lips and your cheek. Lips and cheek externally, teeth and gums internally, bounding space. है ना, जहाँ पे देखा होगा वो जो पान खाते लोग नहीं, गुटखा खाते हैं जो, so they just keep that beaters there in the pouch. So that is the vestibule pouch. So externally it is bound with the lips and cheek, internally teeth and gums, and we are having space in between that, right? So obviously that is basically, that space is basically a vestibule. So it is bounded by lips and cheeks externally, teeth and gums internally. This space is known as vestibule. And you know what? Our lips attached to gums. If you just, today what you will see all the things in mirror. So you just, pull your lips and you will see that your lips basically attached to your gums by a particular projection, by a particular folds, and that is known as labial fold. दिखते हैं ना मुंह में, तो वही है labial fold, right? See, this is actually vestibule, है ना? ये जो space है, this is vestibule bound by lips and cheeks externally, teeth and gums internally, and there's a space. Now, buccal cavity का छत, roof, is formed by palate. So obviously, roof is formed by palate, and obviously floor is formed by lower jaw mandible. So ये floor बना रहा है, ये छत बना रहा है. And we know that obviously mandible is the only movable bone of facial, not skull but facial bone. So it's only the facial bone which is movable in the face. तो मतलब face bone में सिर्फ यही movable है, rest not any bone is movable in our face, right? And it is basically hold by the strong muscle known as masseter muscle. काफी ज़्यादा strong muscle होती है जो उसको hold करके रखता है. तो काफी ज़्यादा strong muscle है हमारे जबड़े की, है ना? So you have to just learn these points, right? So now if we talk about the palate, roof of buccal cavity, we are having two type of palate. Anterior means towards the anterior side. So when you touch your palate, when you touch the roof of the buccal cavity anteriorly by tongue, you will feel some hardness. And just move your tongue back posterior side, so you will feel some softness. So means roof of buccal cavity have anterior and posterior part. So anterior part having hard palate, right? And obviously this palate is made by the fusion of two palatine bone. This hard pellet made by the fusion of two bones, which you have to remember, two palatine bone which fuse together form the palate. And in some kids or in some people, a particular disease is seen, a particular, dysfunctioning is malformation is seen. What happened in their case? कि ये जो दो पैलेट बोन है, ये दो पैलेट बोन होनी चाहिए थी फ्यूज, बट वो फ्यूज नहीं हो पाती, वहां पर एक छोटा सा स्पेस रह जाता है. सो देयर इज अ फेलियर ऑफ द फ्यूजन ऑफ दीज टू बोन्स एंड फ्रॉम द क्लेफ्ट पैलेट मींस देयर इज अ गैप इन द पैलेट. तो मतलब यहां पर पैलेट में एक गैप आ जाता है. सो दैट इज द क्लेफ्ट पैलेट. इन सम किड्स इट इज सीन. एंड यू नो व्हाट, when you touch your roof with your tongue, you will feel some fold in the palate. You will feel some, mucous membrane fold there, right? So obviously mucosa membrane is the layer of the palate, skin layer of the palate. So that is having some fold. And what is the function of this gastric rugae? So it will increase the friction with food. That is the purpose of palatine rugae, which you have to remember. When we talk about posterior buccal cavity, posterior means back side of buccal cavity, it is having soft palate. So anterior hard and posterior soft palate made up of muscle fiber and all. And plus, when we see the soft palate, when we just open our mouth, we see our mouth in mirror. So you will be seeing this structure hanging on the posterior side, है ना? तो ये होता है बेटा uvula. And what is the purpose of uvula which is hanging on the palate, right? So that the purpose of the uvula, basically when we are engulfing food, when we are swallowing food, what happen? It close the internal layers. अंदर से नाक को बंद कर देगा, चिपक जाएगा ऊपर जाके. So it will just stuck there. It will just block the internal layers, so that food will be going to the esophagus not interrupted with the air. So uvula जो है वो ऊपर से internal layers को close कर रहा है. It is closing the internal layers. And obviously epiglottis close the glottis, whole air passage is blocked, hence food will be going to the esophagus now. This is all about the buccal cavity, and we know buccal cavity have tongue, we know it. So tongue absolutely made up of striated muscle, means skeletal muscle, which is in our control, and it is covered with the skin, we know it, right? Bacha, see, if we talk about the tongue, so obviously anterior part is free, but posterior part, back wala part, is basically attached to the hyoid bone, right? So this is our tongue, this is the anterior part, and obviously posteriorly it is bind with the hyoid bone that I have told you in the respiratory chapter. So hyoid bone actually present at the base of buccal cavity, which will hold tongue from the posterior end, right? Base of buccal cavity में ये present है. It will be supporting tongue from the posterior end, right? Support tongue from the posterior end, which I have already told you in the respiratory part. Plus, when you raise your tongue, ऐसे जीभ को ऊपर उठाओगे, when you raise your tongue and see in the mirror, your tongue is basically attached to the buccal cavity. This is your tongue. When you raise it, it will be attached to the floor of the buccal cavity by the fold known as lingual frenulum. So tongue ko also known as lingua because it's responsible for language, right? So it is attached to the base of buccal cavity also. ऐसे ऊपर की तरफ अगर उठाओगे तो यहाँ पर obviously base of buccal cavity by the lingual frenulum, right? So that is something which you have to remember, and it's base of not base of buccal cavity. तो hyoid bone is basically present near the pharynx, right? So we call it base. वैसे तो base ही बोलते हैं, but yes, it is, you are understanding, right? So it's present near the pharynx. So obviously hyoid bone present near the pharynx, that you have to remember. So obviously this is the tongue. And next, if we see the papillae, what is the papillae? Papillae is nothing but the cluster of the epithelial cell. बहुत सारे epithelial cell से यहाँ पर इसके projections बने, aggregation, cluster of epithelial cell है which can regenerate. And what is this papillae having? तो बच्चा papillae having the projection, it's a projection like structure. It is neuroepithelial cell, मतलब sensory structure है for taste है. So you can see here we are having different type of papillae: fungiform papillae, filiform papillae, foliate papillae, circumvallate papillae. So these are different type of papillae in our tongue. And what is the purpose of it? For taste. It is the projection like structure which basically increase the friction of the food, है ना? तो खाने को जो है वो ब्रेक डाउन करेंगे, फ्रिक्शन बढ़ाएंगे उसका. सो फिलीफॉर्म जो है वो कहाँ प्रेजेंट है? टंग के सेंटर में. बहुत स्मॉल स्मॉल साइज के हैं. मोस्ट अबंडेंट मीन्स मैक्सिमम नंबर में ये प्रेजेंट है. They don't have any taste bud. They are having some tactile receptor, means receptor for touch, है ना? So obviously we know the food texture. Why? Because we are having the tactile receptor. When we talk about foliate, it's basically leaf-like papillae, and obviously it is only present in embryo, not present in human adult. When we talk about fungiform, so from this papillae, actually they have asked question in names, right? So found near the base of tongue, it is red colored dots and obviously contain taste buds, which you have to remember. तो fungiform में taste buds हैं. And when we talk about circumvallate, तो बच्चे बड़े 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 knob-like structures होते हैं. These are knob-like structure which contain neuroepithelial sensory cell and with having the taste bud for bitter taste. तो कड़वा जो है इनको पता लगेगा, right? So it's for bitter taste. So basically this base of tongue for bitter, it's for sour, tip for sweet, side for salty. So these are the area of tongue for the different senses, different senses of this particular taste, right? Next, when we see the function of tongue, so bacha, what is the function of tongue? We know sound production. Sound production matlab obviously it will be help us to say any language that we know. तो ये लैंग्वेज में मदद करेगा. बोलस फॉर्मेशन, यू नो, इट विल मिक्स फूड एंड सलाइवा एंड कन्वर्ट इट इनटू द बॉल लाइक स्ट्रक्चर, है ना? पूरा से चबा चबा के बॉल लाइक स्ट्रक्चर में कन्वर्ट करेगा एंड वी विल स्वेलो इट. स्वेलोइंग में हेल्प करेगा. When we talk about tongue and mandible, बच्चा these are together, tongue and mandible दोनों एक साथ क्या करेंगे? These are voluntary muscle. Help in resonator of sound. So lower jaw and tongue together would help in the sound increase the sound resonation. तो जो resonance, तो जो भी हम बोल रहे हैं उसको resonate करेगा. Sweet gland present on the tongue of the dog. Sweat gland present on the tongue of dogs. So obviously you must have seen that जब उनको गर्मी feel हो रही है, when they are feeling so hot, so they will start secreting saliva from their tongue. तो that is not saliva, sweat glands से sweat निकल रहा होता है ना? If we see about teeth, तो बच्चा teeth is the hardest substance in the body, we know, and it will be helping in the chewing, right? So that is the purpose of them, right? तो speech तो नहीं, but हाँ, chewing में they are having main role. And yes, if we see the part of the teeth, so it is having enamel, dentine, pulp cavity, cementum, periodontal ligament, which are important part of the teeth. So obviously teeth का जब हम देखेंगे, the visible part of teeth, visible portion of teeth is basically crown, जो वो एकदम सफेद कलर का visible portion है. We are having this gums and gums के ही part में ये जो है ये छोटा सा area, this is the neck part of the teeth. And obviously those part of teeth which is basically present in the which is basically embedded in the gum, which is basically present in the gum is basically the root part, right? So which you have to remember. तो ये वाला root portion है यहाँ पर, ठीक है? So third part of the teeth is root. अरे बाप रे, what is happening? Right? तो next है बेटा यहाँ पर obviously crown part में क्या क्या है? पहला है enamel, second part है dentine. You can see this whitish part is enamel. And this orangish part, can you see this orangish part? The orangish part is basically dentine part, जो कि crown में भी present है and it is present in deep root also. And if you see dentine carefully, तो you will see there is a cavity also. तो बच्चा, can you see this pinkish color structure? तो this is the cavity known as pulp cavity. And it is the passage of blood vessel, passage of the nerve supply, lymph supply. So pulp cavity, this cavity which is enclosed by the dentine, pulp cavity में blood vessel, lymph supply, nerve supply, everything is present, which you have to remember, nerve supply and all. And plus periodontal ligament is basically a structure that is present around the dentine. So around the dentine ये present है, even cementum present around the dentine. So can you see this structure? Cementum. As the name suggests, cement. तो ये क्या करेगा? It will help teeth to embedded in the socket, in the roots, in the jaw socket में उसको अच्छे से embedded करेगा, act as cement. So obviously this cement present around the dentine, and even periodontal ligament also hold teeth very, very strongly in the we called it jaw socket, right? So दोनों का ही काम होता है. It will just keep the teeth in the jaw socket very strongly. So let's start with the enamel. So बच्चों, when we talk about enamel, जल्दी से देखते हैं what point you have to remember about enamel. So बच्चा, enamel में you have to remember that obviously it is whitish in color, hardest substance of the body, shiny substance outer part of the tooth, and it is having 90% calcium phosphate. So means it make it so strong, even stronger than bone. Bone may be only 60% calcium is present, but it has 90% calcium, means it's even stronger than the bone. Ectodermal in origin, and neat question, it is secreted by special cell ameloblast. So this question they have asked from the enamel. Second, I have shown you dentine, pale yellowish color present beneath the enamel, right? Mesodermal in origin, and it is secreted by odontoblast. What is odontoblast? You know very well, right? So this is the special cell which is mesodermal in origin, and it secrete dentine, and which it is made up of 75% calcium, protein, collagen, salt. So calcium, salt, protein, collagen, this is the composition of dentine, which is same as the bone, So means you can say it is same as bone, which you have to remember, right? So obviously it's same as bone. तो मतलब ये इतना ही hard है जितना bone होता है. So that means hardest substance of the body is enamel, and dentine is like the bone, obviously. Cementum, I have told you, it's a layer of connective tissue, bind the teeth firmly in the gums and jawbone. Pulp cavity is the softer inner lining of the structure. I have told you it's a cavity, right? Enclosed by dentine, having the blood, lymph and nerve supply. Already told you. And when we talk about periodontal ligament, it's a fibrous tissue that keep the teeth hold, or that basically hold the teeth very tightly in the socket. Act as shock absorber during chewing also. So these are the function which we have already discussed. है ना, amazing? So this is the amazing thing that you have to learn about the mouth having all these portions, mouth having tongue, mouth having teeth. And dentition means arrangement of teeth in the jaw socket. So human dentition, so we have to just discuss about the human dentition. We are having diphyodont teeth. Diphyodont means that grow twice. They grow twice in our life, right? Heterodont means simple. We are having different type of teeth, incisors, canine, premolars, molars, having 4 different type of teeth. Thecodont means they are very tightly basically embedded in our socket. तो ये बहुत tightly socket में embedded होते हैं. And what is the dental formula? So we are having 2 type of teeth. Primary dentition present in children, and permanent present in adult, हमारे अंदर है ना. So children में obviously this is the dental, this is also the dental. We just write it like this also. So when we see the whole jaw, तो dental formula written for the half upper, half lower jaw. So we are having 2 incisors. Children having 1 incisor, 1 canine, 0 premolar, and obviously 2 molars. Same. In the lower half jaw also they are having the same dentition, same दांत इसी तरीके से arranged है. So it's incisor, canine, premolar and molars. Incisor, canine, premolars, molars. So this is for upper half and upper lower jaw के दांत, and obviously when we do into 2, so we will be getting the फुल डेंटेशन, अपर पूरा हाफ, अपर पूरा लोअर जॉ का पता चलेगा दैट हाउ मेनी टीथ वी आर हैविंग इन टोटल इन प्राइमरी डेंटेशन इन चिल्ड्रन। तो टोटल 20 दांत होंगे, क्योंकि 5 इस साइड होंगे, 5 दिस साइड, 5 ऑब्वियसली दिस साइड एंड 5 दिस साइड विल बी प्रेजेंट, राइट। सो डेंटल फॉर्मूला रिटन फॉर द अपर हाफ लोअर हाफ, जो कि लिखा भी हुआ है। परमानेंट डेंटिशन मीन्स प्रेजेंट इन अडल्ट। सो अडल्ट में देखो बेटा 2 1 2 3 मीन्स इंसिजर, canine, premolars आ गए हैं। So we are having 2 premolars here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. तो total 2 4 6 8, total 8 premolars present in the whole jaw, right? And molars 3, तो means 1 extra molars has come. That means that extra molar which has come in the adult, which arise in the adult is the विजडम टूथ, है ना, जिसको बोलते हैं कि भाई इसका विजडम टूथ आ चुका है, राइट। सो दैट इज बेसिकली द विजडम टूथ। So I have told you we are having hetero means different type of teeth. We are having 4 types of teeth: incisor, canine, premolar, molar. Incisor for tearing food, है ना, so sorry cutting food, तो जैसे कुछ भी food cut करना है तो we are having incisor. Tear the food, we are having canines, है ना। So obviously क्या करते हो इंसिजर से, कट करते हो कोई चीज कट करनी हो तो, राइट। सो दिस इज फॉर कटिंग, canines is for tearing, एंड कार्निवोर्स के बहुत लंबे लंबे canines होते हैं। इफ यू हैव लंबे लंबे canines means you are having carnivorous character, है ना। So premolars is basically help in mastication, even both premolar and molar both help in mastication and obviously chewing of food, mastication, crushing, है ना। So that is the purpose of premolar and molar, and premolar absent in children, which you have to remember, right? Thecodont means obviously our teeth is basically embedded in socket very tightly. So teeth embedded in socket, that is the thecodont, embedded in socket. So this is our teeth. Out of all the teeth, children have 20 teeth, obviously 20 teeth, and it is basically replaced in adult. So 20 teeth is the diphyodont. Diphyodont means grow twice. Grow twice, तो 20 दांत जो होते हैं वो 2 बार उगते हैं, 2 बार ग्रो होते हैं. So 20 teeth in children replaced in adult. So obviously these teeth are replaced in adult. So 20 teeth are diphyodont, but जितने नए आए हैं 20 के अलावा टोटल 32 दांत होते हैं, तो 20 are diphyodont and 12 teeth. So 8 premolars are new in us, and obviously 4 molars are new in us in whole jaw. तो 2 premolars, 2 premolars, 2 premolars, 2 premolars, and 1 molar in each jaw. So obviously we are having total 12 premolars and molars which are new here. So these are monophyodont, which you have to remember grow only once. तो 12 दांत जो है हमारे 12 teeth in adult are monophyodont, means grow once only, right? So that is something which you have to remember here. Next है pharynx. Now mouth is done and we will see the pharynx. Food will enter the pharynx. देखो बेटा ऐसे. And see how beautifully this epiglottis closing this glottis opening of trachea, so that food will go to the esophagus. देख लो कितना beautiful है. So pharynx present behind the oral and nasal cavity, that we know, and pharynx open into the esophagus in the digestive tract, right? So matlab obviously it will open into the esophagus, and then esophagus open into the stomach, we know it. And you know what, we already know this is actually the glottis. This opening of the larynx is glottis. So obviously we are having the epi means covering, so epiglottis means we are having the covering of this glottis, so that while we are eating food will not enter the respiratory passage that we have done in the respiratory system also, right? So dekho beta, this is the epiglottis, this is the glottis, and it will be closed while we are eating food. So pharynx have 3 portion. pharynx के 3 part हैं. एक जहां पर नाक खुलेगा for the air, nasopharynx, it is the passage for air. Where our mouth will open, so it is the oropharynx and it is common passage for air and food. तो यहां से air plus food दोनों जाएगा. But the last portion is the laryngopharynx. तो बचा hypo और laryngopharynx. So we also called it laryngopharynx. So it will basically have the, it will be opening into the separate, it will be, separating the food and air entry. So for the air, this is the entry. For the food, this is the entry, esophagus ki opening, and this is the air ka opening. So laryngopharynx will separate the opening for food and obviously for air. So nasopharynx is basically the passage for air. Oropharynx is the passage for air and passage for what we call food also. And I have told you that oropharynx ke hi just piche, matlab it's a behind part of the oral cavity which continue in the throat till the hyoid bone. And you know what is the hyoid bone. So ye hyoid bone hai which support tongue. I have already told you, hai na? Laryngopharynx is the lowermost part of the pharynx from epiglottis and continue to the esophagus. So obviously laryngopharynx का क्या काम होता है? It will separate the air passage and food passage. So while we are eating, this air passage get blocked and food will be entering into the esophagus, right? So you can say laryngopharynx में air के लिए air and food passage get separated. Air and food passage gets separated. Simple. So this is all about the laryngopharynx, right? And yes, in our pharynx and oral cavity region, having the tonsils, which are lymphoid organ, lymphatic tissue that will fight against diseases or pathogens, right? It will basically provide immunity to our body. And you know why? It is arranged in the ring form. So when we see the structure of the tonsil, तो कुछ जो है वो हमारे pharynx में present होगा. Some of them present in our pharyngeal region. Some will be present in our palate region. Some will be present near our tongue region. Some will be present near the tube. Tubal means eustachian tube region. So obviously these tonsils present in our cavity, in our buccal cavity like a ring. So obviously they are arranged in such a way that they are forming ring. And obviously it was observed by scientist Waldeyer. So Waldeyer rings के form में arranged है. So nasopharyngeal tonsil known as adenoid tonsil. Then we are having tubal tonsil which is present near the eustachian tube. Palatine, palate के पास है, lingual near the tongue, right? And it acts as secondary lymphoid organ, means provide immunity. And it is secreting IgA antibody also, and this antibody will be killing the microbes, will be killing the foreign antigen, right? So bacha, we have done till the pharynx region, and in the next class we will continue with the esophagus, stomach, small and large intestine. We have done it in a very detailed way because you have asked me to take up all the things in detail. So I have covered previous NEET topic that has been asked in NEET, even AIMS, even AFMC also. And yes, those students who are preparing for the other higher exam, we have covered all the things for those exams, right? I'm pretty sure this is so helpful for all of you. In case you find any doubt, please send your doubt to you can send doubt to me on Telegram. I have given you link in the video, in the description box of the video, and bacha, in case you have any doubt, you can send it here. Even I'm sharing PDF of this topic there itself. Bye bye. See you all in the part 2, and write down in the comment how did you like the video. So happy Valentine week. Be happy, stay home, stay safe, and bacha, in case you will be having any doubt, I'm there with you. All the best. See you all in the next class. Enjoy.